Concerts. You got it going?
Yeah.
After having concerts at Provo Park, which is was now called Martin Luther King Park, we because I lived up here and all this land was all vacant. It was nothing like what it is there now. All just sort of. This building here was over there. Anyway, so that was the plan, was to take the land and come up and get a free speech area. I was more interested in having a rally because it was the only place we could have a rally and get away with it, I felt, because everything else was somewhat tied up. You know, the Sproul Hall was only during the school year. I'm speaking of the summer here, as we're going into the summer of '69. There was a lot happening. So here was this vacant land. I parked my car here, whatever. Why not come up and use this land? And it's just because I lived up there. I was right next door. I watched it get all destroyed. There were houses, 53 different houses, redwood houses in most cases. They moved a few of them. The one across the street over here on Hayes, they moved over there. So it was an opportunity that existed.
So I really appreciate you going over some of your memories of the eminent domain process at what was actually a nice community full of houses. So you actually lived in one of the houses that?
No, it's right above Bongelberger's there.
Oh, okay.
Right where I was showing you.
Oh, okay.
Right above Bongelberger's, that's where we live.
All right. There was a lot going down in the late '60s as far as turning this what became a vacant lot into a park, and I know that you were really active during that time. Can you speak a little bit to what would kind of about that process? Can you tell us a little bit about how you guys actually built a park?
Well, there was a little bit of a community then because of the anti-war movement and the civil rights movement and other movements before, or all the things that happened before, we'll say April of '69. So I got a bunch of people together above the Bongelbergers and the Red Square, as it was called at that time, dress shop, and we decided to come up here and use this land. It was in 1968 they decided to buy out everything, so it took them a long time to get rid of the leases and to accomplish that. It took 10 years. By the time they had it all vacated here, then they didn't have any money to build the dorms like they originally wanted to do. So they just left it here, and it was summertime, and we needed a free speech area, and so we went out into the valley and bought some sod. That was, I think, the key thing, and we planted that sod around the redwoods. And this space was it wasn't developed as much here, and as it spread out, and because it was all a group of houses, each house there were different levels. Some house had done a lot of yard work, some house had not, so you had all this sort of uneven. So it was an opportunity for people to have their own little garden in this sort of uneven ground that sort of existed here. It wasn't flat like it is now because of all the houses were built at different times. I guess that's the reason. Or different gardeners did different things to the houses. So once they were removed, the land wasn't flat. So it gave people an opportunity to have their own little garden. And that's how it started, around the idea of having a rally, free speech, anti-war, pro against Black Panthers at the time, anything that was somewhat radical.
Was Derby Creek actually part of the area when the houses were still here?
No, I don't think so. No, it's a, what do they call it, a covent that's underneath here.
Okay. I just sort of wonder if there's anything you can. You were really active with basically the free speech movement and the Save the Park movement, and you've been kind of helping them fight the fight, for quite a few years. I'm sort of wondering. There's been a lot of rallies here, and there's like anniversary parties, like the 40th anniversary last year, and there's always events here. Maybe you can speak to some of your involvement in the park that followed the 60s. Some of your activism or something of this nature.
Basically, what makes it, I think, run is an open meeting where if there's a problem or if something comes down that's serious enough, a threat of the park, not so much against individuals here, but more in a sense towards the park, then a meeting is called and then democratically come to some kind of solution or fight back. I think that's the key thing, is the open meeting. There is a sort of an underground or a group of people that do rule in the park a little bit, but they're small numbers